must do what I say. There's only one way to speed up the healing process. He coughed again, this time more violently. Blackthorn had to suppress an urge to comfort him, though the thought alone made him shiver. Bring me tunes, Bliko said weakly. Bring me as many tunes as you can. It's the only way. Their energy will flow from their bodies and into mine. When I went to Ink City, I had been planning on stealing energy right then and there, until Blinko and those wolf and dragon fools showed up. Yes, bring me tunes and I will suck the energy from their bodies. Yes, sir, Blackthorn said hesitantly. He was beginning to wonder if helping Bliko heal was the right thing to do. I'll do it. Good, said Bliko with another coughing fit. In the meantime, turn this pod back on. I must rest. Blackthorn nodded obediently and pressed a series of buttons on the control panel. He gulped silently and hoped things would not turn out unfortunate for him. I woke up and looked straight into the face of the green-skinned Clyde, inches from my own. Ah, what are you doing here? I yelled with outrage.
Doing?
Clyde was wearing a white nurse's cap on top of his head and had a thermometer in his hand. Relax, dork. I'm here to take care of you. You're... Oh my gosh. It's a hurt comfort pick on top of this? Oh my gosh. Yes, Ethan. Yes. Yeah. You are badly injured, after all, and I just thought I would do my part in the healing process. That sounds so wrong. He added gently. I didn't believe him for 1 second. Not a chance,
Shrek
Clyde. It's always about Shrek. But it's not a chance, Clyde. I think you've done quite enough to me before. I tried to get up but gasped with pain as my broken bones screamed at me. Clyde pushed me back down and shook his head. No, you're far too injured to move. Now drink this. He offered me a cup of foul-smelling liquid, which I very politely said no to. I am not drinking anything you give me, you little jerk. Where are Mike and Blinko? Mike! Blinko! Where is it?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they went someplace, said Clyde, as if he were talking about a lost pair of pants rather than a pair of brave brothers. In the meantime, I am here. Bwah ha 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 ha. Now you can either do what I say or I'll sing your least favorite song as loud and off key as I can. I glared at Clyde, and a sudden thought crossed my mind. Oh, Dell! Uh-oh, said Clyde as a pair of metal hands came out of the ceiling and grabbed him. I smiled with relief as Dell's hands spun him around and began spanking his bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, here we go.
That's actually a thing.
I see we're getting to the nitty-gritty.
Okay. Thanks, Dell. I thought I was in real trouble for a second. By the way, where are Mike and Blinko? Dell's voice rang out over Clyde's squealing. They received an urgent message this morning. I'm not entirely sure what it was about. They seem to be in a great hurry, but I have no idea how this brat got into the apartment. She finished spanking Clyde and dropped him back onto the floor with a Clyde glared and sneered through his tears. Oh, please. They haven't made a lock yet that I couldn't pick. I came by to help and torture you, he grinned widely, and I rolled my eyes. Dell, please escort our guest to the door as violently as possible, I said, threateningly. All right, I'm going. Geez, said Clyde as he headed for the door. That's what I get for trying to do the right thing. He stomped out of the apartment and slammed the door behind him loudly. I breathed a sigh of relief and closed my eyes to try and get a few more hours of sleep. A few hours later... Oh, yeah. A few hours later, I was woken by a pair of hands nudging me gently. Alex, wake up. There's something important I need to tell you, said Mike. Blinko stood behind him, and they were both beaming from ear to ear. I opened my eyes and looked at them. What is it, you two? What's the big secret? Mike pulled a large scroll from his pocket. and began to read from its fancy curly letters. You are hereby invited to the royal coronation of His Majesty King Michael the First of Lobosia. Lobosia. Because furries and wolves.
Oh my gosh.
Lobosia. My mic's stuck. Speaking of mic. Yeah. There we go. His Majesty will officially take the throne upon the third rising of the howling moon. I blinked confusedly and tried to take in what he had just said. Lobosia, king, howling moon. Mike, what's going on? Mike rolled the scroll back up and stuck it back in his pocket. Well, this morning when I woke up and I found someone watching me. Lunaria? For the first time, I noticed someone else in the room. She was a female wolf with glossy fur and regal robes. She bowed in respect.
Oh god, now it is Twilight.
Greetings, dragon warrior. Oh no, screw you. Kung Fu Panda was actually good. It brings me great honor to meet you. News of you. We hope not. News of you and your brother's brave exploits has graced my ears for some time. It has come to our people's attention that your brother Michael received the spirit of the wolf from an ancient statue known as the Wolfbane. Unknown to your people here, that statue was not made on Earth. It was made as a sign of royal lineage on the distant planet of Lobosia, my planet. As such, the soul chosen by the spirit of the statue is... is our king. Your brother, my king, Michael, will now be the ruler of our entire planet. I have waited a long time for this, my liege. With that, she placed a gold medallion around my brother's neck. On it was a crest showing a wolf howling at a golden moon. It was beautiful. Mike, I can't believe this is happening. I always knew that you were great, but a king of an entire planet at that. Tears shone in my eyes, and as I looked at him proudly, well, how long until the coronation? Mike's smile faded as his thoughts turned to other matters. Oh, but Blinko, how could I possibly even consider this? With Blinko still around, we don't have time. He reluctantly began to take the medallion from his neck, but Blinko stopped him. Don't worry, Mike, he said kindly. We won't have to worry about Blinko for some time. When we fought him, he was hurt pretty badly. Right now, this is a more pressing matter. Your people need you. Yeah, you know, the whole good and bad and evil of the book. It's like, let's put that on pause and let's go have a coronation on the wolf planet of the wolf king, of the wolf boy superhero thing.
I'm Team Edward. And Steph is hitting herself with the book.
I don't know. I should hit myself with something else because I want to keep this as far away from me as possible. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Chapter 6. I've seen a lot of things in my life that filled me with both horror and wonder. I've seen things that filled me with horror, such as the destruction of half a city in a second. And I've seen things that filled me with wonder, such as an incredible sibling filled with power. I've seen things that have filled me with anger, joy, love, pride, and confusion. But when I saw the Lobosian palace for the first time, I was filled with something else. I was filled with awe. I am filled with awe, I said as my brothers appeared beside me in the impressive courtyard of the Lobosian palace. How many chapters are there in this freaking book? I don't know. Wait, does it have a table of contents? Probably not. No, it doesn't have a table of contents. Screw you. The epilogue. It's 15 chapters, so it's not that. That's cheap. The last one goes. It's not that bad.
It's bad.
Yes.
Grump.
The courtyards were filled with exotic plants I had never seen before, some with bright, vivid colors that I couldn't remember seeing in my life. Golden fountains sparkled here and there around the gardens in a welcoming manner. It was breathtaking. I wished that I could stand and walk through those gardens and past those fountains, but unfortunately my wounds had still not healed enough. Blinko pushed me gently along in a wheelchair, along toward the magnificent arch-covered palace entrance. Lunaria walked beside Mike with one arm under his. Our last king was not such a good person, she said with a frown. Lord Rogue was a bit of a tyrant. He treated many of our people like slaves. In fact, we had to remove him from the Lobosian throne by force. Mike gulped loudly and asked nervously, "Well, what did you do with him?" Lunaria smiled and wrapped an arm around him. "Don't worry, I can tell by your spirit that you are a kind soul. No, you can never be like him. He was banished to the outlands, far from any of our major cities. We haven't seen him for many hundreds of years. Our race lives far longer than human beings. I myself am barely 200 and am still considered very young. Michael, as our ruler, you will be granted the same life extension as our people." uh, since Rogue's banishment, an elder council has ruled in place of a king. They are who sent me here to they are who sent me to retrieve you. Oh. Oh, good luck, sir. Man.
May all of your studying be wiped away for this horrible crap that you've remembered.
We entered the royal palace and stared in amazement. The royal throne room was huge, with glittering silver woven statues decorating each side of the hall. The walls rose up each side of the room and met the ceiling in a sparkling dome. The floors were made of solid silver, with intricate carvings covering every inch. The carvings seemed to tell the story of the planet from its inception to the modern era. In the far corner of the floor was a new carving showing King Michael being crowned, while proud Lobosians looked on. looked on curiously. It also came to my attention that the older carvings surrounding my brothers weren't so happy. These were the carvings of Rogue, and they told a bitter story. They told the story of savage beatings and brutal executions, of terrible slavery and miserable horror. Rogue truly must have been a terrible ruler, because a grand image showed a group of brave Lobosians risking paw and limb to hide the wolf.
Yes, Evan shooped the Kickstarter pictures.
Yes. Awesome. 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 Anyway. To hide the Wolfbane statue away on Earth, away from Rogue's prying claws. The final carving in Rogue's collection showed him alone in the wilderness, staring back at the rest of the world as they rebuilt it from the ashes. It was clear that Lunaria had left quite a bit out when she described what had happened. It must have been difficult to talk about. "So this is the Lobosian palace, eh?" I said with pride. "My brother is the ruler of a planet full of wolf people. I couldn't be prouder, of course." A loud crackle interrupted me as a blood-red portal opened up behind us. A large, muscular wolf with angry eyes stepped through the portal. He had a black sword strapped to his side, but other than that, the only thing he was wearing was a thin loincloth. He looked as if he hadn't bathed in many moons and smelled even worse. Lunaria gasped in horror upon seeing the Rogue. "You have no business here. Your royal lineage died when you were dethroned. Get out now before I call the guards." Rogue took a small step forward and chuckled wickedly. "Fools, you know not what I am capable of. You banished me to the life of a miserable hermit. You removed my power and expect me not to seek vengeance. Well, I think not. I will not let some insignificant human take my place. I will be king again if I have to rip his throat out with my bare teeth to do it." He took a step forward, and his fanged grin spread even wider. "Besides, my dear, how will he ever become a king without this?" He held a second golden medallion in his filthy fingers. This one bore a royal crest on one side and a golden crown on the other. "The coronation medallion! No! How did you? It's impossible." "So convenient." Lunaria shook her head in horror and stepped backward in disbelief. "You stole that from the royal treasury, you beast." Quite right," Rogue said, playing with the medallion in his fingers. Okay. We wish. Okay, this is gonna be like really crappy Sean Connery. Of course you realize, without this medallion, the one around your fake king's neck is entirely useless. Mike's hands flew to the necklace around his neck. Is that true, Lunaria? Please, tell me he's lying. Lunaria shuddered. I'm afraid he's telling the truth, Mike. The one around your neck is a sign of royal lineage, but without the coronation medallion, you can never be king. Rogue snorted with glee. That's right, sweetheart. And you left out the best part. If he isn't king, you can't be a vessel for the wolf spirits any longer. You human! Your powers will mean less than nothing. They will slowly vanish until you are what you deserve to be. A normal, weak, pathetic human! Like,
So great.
Mike, no! You monster! I glared at Rogue with eyes aflame. We'll just have to beat you until you give it back. How about that? How dare you do such a wicked thing to my brother? Threaten me all you like, dragons. Bah, dragons. Dragons have always been inferior to wolves. They are common, insolent beasts with no minds. Rogue stepped backward toward his portal. I will have my revenge, mortals. Just you wait and see. Stop him! We must get that medallion back! Lunaria's voice rose in a panic. Guards! Grab him before he vanishes! He would have succeeded, too, if my brother hadn't called his challenge. No self... He would have succeeded, too, if my brother hadn't called his challenge. No self-respecting Lobosian, especially one with eyes on the crown, would dare turn down a challenge. we will see. Dare turn down a challenge. Are you asking me for a challenge? Especially if he deemed his opponent to be worthless and inferior. Just before Rogue vanished through his portal, Mike's challenge called it back. Rogue, I have a better idea. I challenge you to a duel of the alphas. You deem me inferior and weak. Then it should be easy unless we have more cowardice than you, please. Rogue stopped and faced my brother. You dare challenge me, the ruler of this planet? The true Wolf King. I will taste your blood, you worthless human. I accept your challenge. The winner will receive the medallion and the throne. If you hope to defeat me, I would recommend training as hard as you can until we fight. I'd like a bit of challenge. One more thing. It will be one-on-one, just the two of us. I won't have your brothers. He spat, interfering when I crushed your skull. Prepare, human. We will fight on the day of the coronation. You have half a moon cycle left to live. With a low chuckle, he leapt through the portal, which clapped shut behind him with a bang. No company. It was like Lulu's self-published thing.
Grump.
Even DeviantArt wouldn't publish it, I don't think. Because he talked about that. Like, should I publish it through DeviantArt? And then like later, like it didn't happen, and he published it through it was like Lulu, whatever that site is. But that night I listened outside Mike's royal quarters as he and Lunaria spoke. Her words were choked with sobs and worry. I wanted to enter and comfort both of them, but it occurred to me that they might want to be alone. You must be careful, said Lunaria between the sobs. Rogue is not going to play fairly. He has a wicked heart. You must realize he's going to try and assassinate you before the fight day. These are dangerous times, my king. I wish it were not so. Even if you do survive to the coronation day, Rogue is a powerful warrior. You're used to fighting with your brothers as a team, but they cannot help you. It must be by your nobility and honor alone that Rogue's wickedness is ended. She pressed her face against my brother's chest and began to weep. Mike dried her eyes with a handkerchief and tried to provide comfort. Do not worry, Lunaria. I swear I won't let you down. This world will not fall into Rogue's evil sway again. Only be careful, Lunaria. She looked into his eyes, and he into hers. For one breathless moment they held that gaze. A kiss is a powerful thing, possibly the most powerful thing. A kiss can bring peace between two kingdoms, or it can tear them apart. uh, it can bring unbridled passion and joyful ecstasy. It can bring two hearts together to beat as one soul, or it can cause a single heart to break in two. I dared not look in my brother's royal chamber at that moment, but I knew, I could feel it in my own heart, that they had shared a truly powerful kiss. A few moments later, Lunaria left the room and spoke with me. Protect your brother, Alex. I'm counting on you. It's true that you may not be able to help in his fight, but watch out for him in any case. I have a feeling Rogue won't take this lying down. I smiled and nodded to her, with an unspoken agreement. After she left, I sat in the wheelchair by my brother's door. Intending to guard it the entire night from intruders. I didn't know I was being watched. Even then, I'm not sure what happened, but I know I did accidentally nod off. The assassin crept out of the shadows and walked gingerly by the sleeping dragon brother. What a fool, sleeping on the job. It only made an assassin's job all that simpler. As silent as black silk in the night, the assassin oiled the hinges of the bedroom door so it wouldn't make even the tiniest squeak. He crept into the royal bedroom and removed a silver poison lace dagger from his belt. By the blood of Rogue's Knight, I send you to the underworld! The assassin stabbed the dagger down deep into its target and smiled. You shouldn't have, huh? He peered through the dark at the bed. He heard a flushing sound behind him. Oh my. Mike stepped out of the royal bathroom and his eyes flashed to the dagger, sticking out of his bed. Nice try, murderer. You might want to look before you stab next time. Before the assassin could run, my brother was on him like a shot. Because that's the thing. Take a shot. He punched him in the face and threw him against the wall. The assassin simpered and threw a handful of black dust into Mike's face, blinding him. Seeing his chance to escape, the assassin bolted for the bedroom door. Alex, get him! Mike yelled through the black dust. I bolted awake at his voice and stuck a spear across the entryway. The assassin flew through the door and tripped over the spear with cartoonish sound effects, smashing into the wall on the other side of the corridor. I grabbed the black mask he wore over his head and yanked it off. Underneath was a small, frightened, dark brown wolf who was just itching for an escape. You tripped Holly! He exclaimed in a high-pitched voice. That's not fair! You cheated! Your brother cheated! You all cheated!
Sounds like the kids from the Troll in Central Park or something.
Mike appeared by my side and growled at him. Holly, huh? Well, your plan has failed, though it's frightening how close you came to succeeding and murdering me. That dagger in my mattress is proof enough. You're not the king! Holly through clenched fangs. You can never be Lobo King. I stab! He tried to slash at my brother with his claws, but I held him still. Grr, let Holly go so I stab! He yelled. No, who sent you? I yelled, shaking him as if I didn't already know. Talker, I swear. Swear King! Spat Holly, still trying to escape. True King sent me, King Rogue! I knew it, I said with disgust. Guards! A group of the king's bodyguards arrived on the scene as soon as I called. This traitor is caught in the act of trying to assassinate the king. As the king's personal guard, I'm giving the order to have him thrown in the dungeon. Yes, sir, the guards said in sync as they dragged the little assassin toward the dungeon, screaming. No, you not win! You never win! He yelled at the top of his lungs. Howie will maul your bones, humans! I turned to Mike and we stared at each other. There were no words for such a close encounter with death. Back on Earth, a terrible evil was taking place. As Bleeko watched on, a small toon squirrel was dragged into the underground lair, his wrists and legs bound so tight that ink dripped from the wounds the ropes inflicted. Charlie the squirrel had never done anything worse than throwing a pie in someone's face. He was an innocent. But none of this mattered to Bliko. Please, let me go, he pleaded as Blackthorn and Rancor dragged him into the pod room and threw him down before Bliko. I haven't done anything. Is this about a piano dropping in your head? If it is, I don't do that anymore. What do you want with me? I'm off the pianos, man. Been sober for 2 years. Bliko stared cold-heartedly at him. Hello, Squirrel. So you were the first lucky tune chosen by my followers, of course. I didn't say what kind of luck.
Yes, by Oculus Rift to experience the story at its fullest.
Tears welled up in the kidnapped tune's eyes, pleadingly. You don't want me? I've got 200 kids and a wife at home. The squirrel pulled out a wallet and let a bunch of pictures unroll to the floor. Besides, I'm all skin and bones, cough, cough, and I'm sick. You don't want to eat me. A wicked toothy grin. A wicked toothy smile across Bliko's face. Oh, I'm not going to eat you. I'm going to devour you, you runt. Charlie tried to squirm away, but Bliko was too fast and powerful. He grabbed the top of Charlie's head and began to absorb the tune's energy. This is like some kind of low-grade, bad ripoff of, like, Heroes or some crap. At first, Blackthorn wasn't sure anything was happening. Bliko didn't seem to be getting stronger, and the tune merely knelt on his knees, whimpering. Hang on, wait, what did Emily?
Yeah.
Master, Blackthorn began, but Rancor quickly clamped a hand over his mouth. The squirrel screamed as the color began to run out of his fur, leaving him blanched black and white. Bliko's wounds ever so slightly healed themselves, though Blackthorn had to look very closely to see. As they watched, the uncolorized tuned squirrel stopped screaming and fell to the floor. No breath passed his lips. Bliko laughed and kicked the tune's lifeless body against the wall. As the villains watched on, the tune dissolved into a puddle of ink on the floor. And that is true villainy, my friend. Said Bliko monstrously. You could learn a thing or two from me. Clean up this ink and find me another tune. On Lobosia, Bliko screamed. Bliko, what's wrong? I had been training with Mike in the Lobosian Coliseum. Which was a... Hang on. Yeah, that's also spelled wrong. Coliseum.
Yay.
Lobosian Coliseum, although maybe that's just how they spell it on Lobosia. I don't know. When Blinko started screaming for seemingly no reason. What is it? I asked, again with concern. Blinko seemed to be out of breath. Bliko has done something demonic.
Okay, thank you for telling me.
Wait, where is it? Dot, 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 dot. He held his hands to his face and screamed. And I felt the entire thing. He's murdered another tune. I can't take this. Bliko and I share a connection that must be broken. I could feel that poor tune's agony. He looked at us with tears in his eyes. Blinko, said Mike, this is wrong. We shouldn't be here when Bliko is causing terror on Earth. It's selfish. Blinko put an arm on his shoulder. No, Mike, it isn't selfish. It's true that Bliko is still causing grief on Earth, but you are here to protect your kingdom. Wow, mood would flash. If we left now, Rogue would become king again, which would bring Lobosia just as much grief. The challenge between you and Rogue takes place tomorrow. Bliko wouldn't be able to do much in that amount of time. Now keep training. You need to be as strong as possible. You heard him, Mike, I said as I brought a silver whistle to my lips. Now I want you to start running laps. What is with the gym teacher crap? Now I want you to start running laps around the Coliseum. The Coliseum. Don't stop until I say so. Move, move, move. Alex, and I don't want any backtalk. We need you stronger. Move. I blew the whistle in his ear. Mike sighed and began to run. I didn't mean to work him so hard. I was just trying to help. But there was something about having that whistle that got to me. I kept on training him harder and harder, long after I should have stopped. He was tired and achy, but I kept putting him through his paces. Why does this remind me of the SpongeBob episode? The sun fell from the sky, and the 2 moons, of course it has 2 moons, of Labosia rose into the sky. One was gold, and the other was red, the howling moon. I looked back up at that glowing red orb, and it seemed like an eye staring back at me.